Hello people, I'm the Comic Book Gamer. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 5 favorite Bat books of all time. So first off, I just want to let you guys know that this isn't going to be on the list. Dark Knight Returns, nowhere. It's not going to be on the list. I have a disdain for that book. I think it's incredibly overrated. It's not very good. But that's just me. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into the list. Starting off at number 5, which is cheating a little bit because it's technically 2 books. It's The Court of Owls and then The City of Owls, because it's a 2-part story basically, because if you just read The Court of Owls, you need to know what happens next. It's like followed up by The City of Owls. It's not like, oh, well, you know, that's the end of that story arc, on to the next one. No, it very much continues what happens at the end of The Court of Owls. Anyways, most of you guys know what this story is. It's a great story. When it came out in New 52, it did exactly what a New 52 book should do, which is it adds new stuff to the universe. It adds a lot of good lore, but it doesn't like mess with stuff that you love. It doesn't like, oh, well, we're replacing this with this. It doesn't do that. It just adds something new, and it added a lot of cool lore to Gotham. I loved it how they did it, how like they were sort of a myth in Gotham that turns out they're real. There's this real secret society. They got these awesome assassins called the Talons, which were cool for the first part, and then later on they're kind of treated like a joke. Like you just see like the Justice League destroying them and like people just destroying them left and right. Like at first I was like, oh, the Talons are awesome, and then they're kind of like putties from Power Rangers and they lose their coolness, and it's just like, yeah, they're not too great. But in this story arc, they're great. At number 4, I got Year One. Yes, I do have a Frank Miller book on here. I don't really care for Frank Miller, but he has written some great books, and one of those is Year One. Year One is amazing. It's still the best Batman origin story I'd say we have to date. It's a very vulnerable Batman, which is different than what we see in most Frank Miller books. Generally, Frank Miller's sort of like, his Batman's a bit like Deadpool, not in how he acts, but in the fact that, oh, he just gets the crap beaten out of him all the time, but he's fine. Like, it doesn't seem to affect him, except with Deadpool, it makes sense. He's got a healing factor. Batman doesn't. Like, Frank Miller's Batman just goes through so much, then he's just like, he's fine. Like, it doesn't affect him at all. But in Year One, he's a lot more vulnerable, and he's starting out, and yeah, it's just a great origin story. We get some cool stuff with Catwoman, and yeah, just overall, it's a great origin story that most of you guys already know, and the movie's pretty good as well. As always, I'd say read the comic, but yeah, the movie's pretty good as well. But yeah, definitely read it if you haven't. Most of you guys have, because that's like a #1 recommendation whenever someone wants to get into Batman, because it is the best Batman origin story we still have to date. At number 3, you got Batman Under the Red Hood, which is another amazing story that most of you guys probably know about, because we did get that amazing movie about it a while back. And the book is great. It's if you've seen the movie and you haven't read the book, definitely read the book. The book is basically, it's like the movie, except with a lot more packed in there, and it's really cool, like seeing Jason come back and that emotion that has, like the emotional effects that has on Bruce, and how they, like, no villain has really done something like this to Bruce. No villain can really affect Bruce like one of his failures coming back to life and haunting him. And so that aspect of it is really cool. Black Mask is great, and as well, just getting pissed off constantly, sort of like in the middle of the war. And then you've got Red Hood just this whole time sort of using everyone to get the Batman, and yeah, it's fantastic, and most of you guys already know what happens in it. But yeah, if you have seen the movie and you haven't read the book, definitely read the book. There is other stuff in there, like there's an interaction with Superman, there's an interaction with Green Arrow. Deathstroke shows up to sort of try to set up like Villains United, which is another storyline that's pretty cool. But anyways, yeah, it's a great story. At number 2, we have Batman Hush, which is amazing like all the other ones on this list. It's a huge book. First off, there's a lot of content in there. Jeff Loeb was at his A game when he wrote this. A lot of Batman's villains show up in this book. Like, we get some stuff with Lady Shiva, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Ra's al Ghul, and they're all used to great effect, not just to like sell copies. Not like, oh, look, your favorite Batman villains in this book. No, they're all used really well. Jeff Loeb did great, and it's really cool seeing Batman like try to figure out what's going on here. It does sort of have the effect of Red Hood, and the fact that Tommy Elliott is another person that can affect him like no one else can. You know, this childhood friend come back and it's like learning stuff about him when he thought he was a good guy, and now it's like, yeah, he's not so great. And Bruce, yeah, just gets another sort of emotional gut punch there. And seeing Harvey Dent come in at the end with Jim Gordon was awesome. And also seeing, I'm not gonna reveal it, I'm not gonna spoil it, but seeing who's behind it all. Most people know, but some people don't. Seeing who's behind like everything is awesome. I loved how the way they did it. Some people didn't like it that Hush wasn't behind everything, that there is someone else. Some people didn't care for that. I personally loved it. I thought it was handled brilliantly in the scene where like Batman confronts the person explains everything, was done really well. And yeah, just Hush is awesome. It's huge. Again, it's a huge book, so you get a lot. You get a lot for your money. Also, The fight between him and Superman is pretty cool, and the monologue going on in Batman's head is another one of my favorite moments in this book, and yeah, just overall, it's amazing. Then at number 1, we have Batman the Black Mirror. This is Dick Grayson as Batman, so this could be considered cheating because I said Batman, that doesn't necessarily mean Dick Grayson Batman, so yeah, I don't know. But if this is cheating, then I would just say my top 5 list is the same, except at number 5 I'd have Endgame, and so everything else just moves up a slot. So yeah, there's my top 5. We're doing Bruce Wayne Batman only, but if we're not, then yeah, definitely Black Mirror at number 1 with Dick Grayson as Batman. It's an amazing book. It's really cool seeing Dick try to adjust to the world of being Batman. Now he's already been Batman for a bit here, but it is really cool to see, and he's got a great interaction with the Joker. You're best going into this book blind, so I don't really want to spoil anything for this, and this is another one of those books that's like popular because it's one of the best Batman books, but at the same time, while it being really popular, not really everyone knows what happens in the book, so I don't really want to spoil it, to where with other stuff, I'm fine with spoiling it because everyone knows. But with this, not everyone really knows what goes on here. But yeah, it's a great story. It's a really good detective story. The art is fantastic. It's done by Jock, which some people don't care for his art. I personally love it. I think it fits Batman perfectly. It's to where like specific characters it would work great. Like I wouldn't want him writing drawing a Flash book, but for Batman it works great. Like Jock works for certain characters, and Batman is one of those characters where his style is perfect for Batman. It fits so well. But yeah, it's a mystery book to where in the beginning they sort of give you this obvious thing like, oh, this guy is clearly the bad guy, and then later you sort of start questioning things like, is it so obvious that's too obvious, that's not him, is it really him? And it's like sort of, it's this back and forth of, oh, it's him, and no, it's not, and then there's other stuff thrown in there. It's done really well. And Scott Snyder, this is his best book and my favorite Batman book, and it's just amazing. It's so great. If you haven't read it, you need to. Batman the Black Mirror. Also, it's pretty cheap for how much you get. Like it's a pretty thick book, and it's like $17 retail, so it's cheaper now at most places. But yeah, anyways, those are my top 5 favorite Batman stories of all time. Please let me know in the comments below what are your top 5 favorite Batman stories, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also, to everyone saying you should do more videos like this, more comic book lore videos, I'd love to, but I like making the videos that are a combo of videos that I like to make and you guys like to watch. I like making videos like these, but not very many people like to watch them. I know some of you guys really do, but the views tell me different, to where a lot of people don't care to watch them, so that's why I don't make these as often as I used to, but I still do love making them, so that's why I still make them every once in a while. But yeah, I'd love to make it more often. It's just not very many people watch them, so if you do want more of this stuff, just remember to like the video, comment, and to share it, because all that stuff helps if you want more videos like these. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I've been so alone ever since I left the tribe. That's just how it goes, guess I like the lonely vibe. But they'll never know, cause I'm always on my grind. And I live a lonely life, and I'm never getting stressed, cause I